Hey book nerds, happy October. It's time to count down the top 10 moody, creepy YA books that you should read this Halloween season. But first, let me get a little festive. Oh yeah! Now that I've got my pumpkin glasses on, I need a little pumpkin spice latte. Let me just drape myself in some fall foliage here. Oh, don't I just look so fabulous in my fall foliage? I'm amazing. Really hard time coming up with this list because I don't tend to read scary books because I really don't like being scared. Like, if you find me in a scary movie, first of all, I would never go to a scary movie, but I will be like sitting there with my ears plugged, covering my eyes, facing the projector. So I'm not a big fan of horror books, but I do really like atmospheric, dark, and moody stuff. So once I started putting the list together, I did find it was hard to narrow it down because there were so many great ones to put on this list. But I did come up with 10, some were recommended by you guys, and I organized them into various categories. So the first category that we have going on today is the oh my god, what is happening category. Number 10 on this list is Another Little Piece by Karyus Quinn. And this book is super underrated, but totally worth your time, and it is very weird. I'm probably gonna end up saying that about every single book on this list, but let's just kick it off with this one. So basically, this book starts out where this girl comes out of the woods, screaming and completely drenched in blood. Oh, and she has no idea who she is. That's pretty much how the book starts, but you should definitely check this one out. Number 9 on this list is also the most commented book from you guys on the last list video I did, which was the Mara DYER trilogy by Michelle Hodkin. Here's what you guys had to say about this book. My favorite creepy read has to be the Mara DYER trilogy, hands down. If you're talking about creepy reads, the Mara DYER trilogy should definitely be on the list. I simply love these books. It's dark, creepy, keeps you on the edge of your seat, and there's this guy called Noah in it. He's hot and British and sarcastic and funny, and did I say hot? Yep, Mara DYER is my favorite. I'm reading that comment. Number 8 on this list. Did we do 8? No, I don't know what number it is. Number 8 on this list is The Monstrumologist, which also kicks off our gothic horror section. I don't know why I did this, because I definitely don't think jazz hands when I think gothic horror, but for some reason I did that. So, The Monstrumologist by Yancey. You guys recommended it. This book is set in 1888, and it's got a lot of really creepy monsters in this. And when I say creepy, I don't really mean creepy. I mean gory and bloody and dark and disturbing and completely just up, just totally messed up, completely messed up. I really want to warn you guys that The Monstrumologist is very gory, very bloody. And so if that's the kind of thing that you are looking for, definitely go for it. My pumpkin glasses are falling off. Can I just should we do 2 of them at the same time? No. Number 7 on this list, also a gothic horror, is The Madman's Daughter by Megan Shepherd. This is the first in the trilogy, and this is a gothic retelling of The Island of Dr. Moreau. And this is about, you guessed it, haha, Moreau's daughter. And she goes out to an island to go find her dad, and instead pretty much finds all these insane creatures that her dad has made, combining humans and animals, and just everything goes completely wrong. And this is so moody, and it's like the perfect gothic story. So if that's the kind of thing you're looking for, definitely check this one out. And look at also the other 2 books in the series, because they are also other retellings like Frankenstein, Jekyll and Hyde, some other things I can't remember, but check out the first one. It's a favorite of mine. Number 6 brings us to a whole new category, which I like to call the it takes place in the middle of nowhere and that's super creepy category. And the first one on this list, number 6, is The Hallowed Ones by Laura Bickle. Da. This one is one of my favorite vampire stories because the vampires are not sparkly. They are not hot, they are not cute, they are not redeemable. The vampires in the story are straight up blood-sucking monsters. Oh, and did I also happen to mention that this book is about an Amish girl? So Amish vampire action going on here. Number 5 is The Forest of Hands and Teeth by Carrie Ryan. This book came out in 2009, 8-ish, sometime around then. I'm probably getting that date completely wrong. This is one of the best zombie YA novels of all time. Why? Because the zombies are fast. They will hunt you down and bite your leg off and roast it and have it make an entire meal out of your entire body. Whoa. Anyway, the book reminds me a lot of The Village by M. Night Shyamalan, if you remember that movie. So it takes place in the middle of the woods, in the middle of nowhere. There's this like compound, you don't really know what's going on, but the zombies are scary as hell. And you should also pick up this one because there's going to be a movie of it, and they just announced their first major casting. Maisie Williams, aka Arya Stark, is gonna be the lead role in the Forest of Hands and Teeth movie. So you should definitely read this before that movie comes out. Number 5 on this list kicks off another new category, which is the dark and moody category. And the number 5 is This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. I feel like a lot of Victoria Schwab's books, and by a lot I mean all of them, could be on this like moody books to read before Halloween. They're not necessarily horror, but they are very, very dark and very atmospheric. And this one is complete with 3 different types of terrifying monsters: the Corsai, the Sunai, and the Malachi. The Malachi are more like vampires, they will drink your blood. The Corsai are more like just straight up, you know, regular monsters with claws and teeth, and they will just eat the flesh right off your bones. And then there's Sunai, which look like you and me, but they'll steal your soul by playing a song. Like literally, they play music and then your soul is gone. So definitely read this one. Number 3 on this list is Asylum by Madeleine Roux. What makes this book particularly creepy are all of the photos that are featured throughout the book. So if we just sort of flip to any page here. And if you really liked Asylum, don't worry, there are a lot more books in the series. Number 2 and number 1 I have saved for their own category because they deserve their own category, because it's the Neil Gaiman category. And if there's one author that you absolutely have to read in October around Halloween, it's Neil Gaiman. And the 2 of my favorites that I highly recommend you read at this time of year are Coraline and The Graveyard Book. There it is. The creepiest part of Coraline, hands down, is the other mother. She's got buttons for eyes. Buttons! And if you haven't seen the live action, the claymation, is it claymation? I don't even know. If you haven't seen the movie version of Coraline, I highly suggest you check it out, but you should probably read the book first. And then there's The Graveyard Book, which for me is my number 1 favorite book to read around Halloween, because I just read it like last week, and it is now my new favorite book to read around Halloween because it's the Graveyard Book and it's Neil Gaiman. It's set in a graveyard and it's Neil Gaiman. Like, are there any other books you should read around Halloween? No. So if you're only gonna read one, definitely read The Graveyard Book. And the best part is, if you're like, I don't like to read, I like to look at pictures, you're in luck because there's an illustrated edition and there is a graphic novel edition. So that's it for this list video. Head down to the comments below, tell me what are your favorite horror books? What books give you the absolute creeps? What are your favorite Halloween movies? What are you guys going as for Halloween this year? And next month's video, I will be counting down or admitting the top 10 books that everyone's read that I haven't read. So if you've got any of those, hit the comments below. Let me know, perhaps I will screenshot you and feature you in the next video. Until then, happy Halloween and book shimmy.